Hi,
Hi
everyone.
there. Hi.
Hi. I think there's still a lot of people entering the room as we speak. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, we're going to get started, and then as people come in more, the just thank you very much, everyone, for coming today. And I think that like even before we start, I wanted to. Sorry, I think who's I feel like I hear someone else talking. Sorry, guys. One moment. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I had I accidentally muted someone. Yes, okay. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I wanted to, even before we start, to acknowledge the obviously like the events of sorry, I have to stop. Sorry, guys. I think one of you has someone chatting in the background, and then like, that's quite loud. Oh, that's you. Sorry, Paola.
It's because I'm in the office right now, so there's a lot going on.
Of
So I'll
course.
mute. Yeah.
Is this the life in the Zoom, like in the Zoom time, or like in the COVID time? Where I am, it's 5 p.m. here, and my son is gonna come home, like come back in like 10 minutes or something. So I apologize for the noise in advance if that happens. But these are the days we live in. I just wanted to first acknowledge like the events of yesterday, like the trial of, sorry, I'm French, so I say his name the French way, Chauvin, I don't know how.
Mhm.
Yeah, his trial, and like the relief and the hope, but also the frustration that comes with this, and obviously the sad news of at the same time, Micaiah Bryant, and like I understand if, I mean, like I feel like today is a lot. I feel like we don't really catch many breaks, even in the good news. Even when the good news happen, it still feels so heavy, so heartbreaking. So is it going to end soon? So I just wanted, we actually thought at first, like, should we maintain this event? Should we still, like celebrate? And and actually, I think that if there's something that we absolutely deserve is joy, and like that also, that like Black women, Black people right now, like in this context of things, like this is the thing that we should absolutely chase, is joy, and not hold back, not like just take space, be loudly alive. So I'm very, very happy to be holding this space today with Micaéla, Oni, Paola, and all of you attending today. Thank you so much, and I hope that we can have very like heartwarming, uplifting conversations, just the way that like Black sisterhood is very like one of a kind and very magic. So I just hope that we can feel everyone with that Black magic today, and with joy. So yeah. So we have today on our panel, so like I just said, like Micaéla, Oni, and Paola. And today, the reason why we are here is because it's also RadSwan's full launch. We've had like like pre-launch, etc., all of the phases, like business life. And now today, like RadSwan is finally coming to life. This is the baby being delivered, leaving the nest. And yeah, so we just wanted to mark the day. So just to start, because I'm so excited for all of you to discover our panelists, I'm going to ask the three of you to introduce yourself, starting with Micaéla.
Hi guys, my name is Micaéla Verrelien. I am from Massachusetts, but I currently live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a content creator, I'm a creative director, and I'm just so happy to be here with y'all today.
Thank you so much. Sorry. Oni.
Hi everyone. I'm Onyi Moss. Originally from Nigeria, but I'm based in Manchester, UK.
and I'm a creative director, filmmaker, as well as a singer-songwriter. And I'm so thankful Freddie has me here today, and I'm wearing the number 2 RadSwan hair.
You've been rocking it. It really
Yeah, I
suits
have
you. Hi, Paola.
Hello there. Hello, everyone. My name is Paola. I'm the founder of FumJum. I am a photographer, a creative director. I currently live in Austin, Texas. I moved there 3 years ago from New York City, but I'm originally from Haiti. I'm also a mother of 2.
Yay! So everyone is like so modest. Honestly, like those 3 women, powerhouses, all around artists. And I can see, actually, like, we're covering quite a bit of land. So I'm in London. We have Micaéla in Brooklyn, Onyi in Manchester, Paola in Texas. I love it. So for everyone attending, you can, so we're going to save some time at the end for some questions. So please put them in the chat and everyone can answer towards the end of the panel discussion. So I don't know if all of you are familiar with Zoom, but you have like a chat section at the bottom. So please like leave your questions at any time during the panel. So let's get started. So today, we're going to talk about hair, obviously, but not just. I want to start quickly on my own, on my own journey with RadSwan and my own journey with hair briefly. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I used to, like growing up, I used to change hair all the time. Even if I felt like I started to have ownership on my hair like when I was like 16 maybe, but before that I didn't have the choice. You had to just like sit down every weekend or every month, change braids, change everything. And I grew up from the age of 10 I was in private school where there was like hardly any people of color, and like you already stand out. But I felt from a very early age that hair, like our hair or what we do with it, was kind of like a superpower. You could just like really switch up appearance and come as a new person every month when you're planning on the new hair, like being inspired by a celebrity or just like by what's in your wardrobe. I just really love that. I feel like hair is part of our, of all of us, like of our growing up stories. For me, it was definitely a way to bond with my sister, with my cousins, like that I grew up with, like sitting in each other's legs and greasing the scalp, like washing our hair. And I believe that also for Black women, it's hair gives us this very first space of to experience vulnerability. I feel in ways that other ethnicities don't have. Like you sit in between someone's legs and like they have your head, you should like your head, that they're looking after, but also these are moments where we're kind of like forced to see each other and like forced to see ourselves in each other. First, I had to sit for hours with a cousin that I'm not talking to, like we're not friends anymore or anything, but like you have to do that. And I feel like this is mostly why Black sisterhood is what it is. And it's not, I don't want to romance it. I think there's also a lot of ugly as well and a lot of mess, but that also comes from this vulnerability, this intimacy, those spaces that we are exposed to from the beginning. And I feel that our hair as Black people, we can never be fully shunned or we can't really fully be isolated, because the very nature of our hair means that we need someone, like someone is going to have to touch us at some point. Someone's going to have to touch your hand as braiding hair. Someone's going to touch your head. This is how we are designed. And like for me, this is why I love to refer to ourselves as shapeshifters. From the very beginning, it's been my first or only mean of expression that was, like where you could really go free the rest of the time, the way you dress or the way you behave at school as kids of immigrants or as minorities, like we're told to roll with the punches, we're told to just like, make yourself small, be successful. But, we're also giving this outlet here for us to keep on reintroducing ourselves. And I also believe that hair is almost like the blueprint of Blackness, as if like our ancestors kind of knew from the beginning that history would scatter us all over the planet. And then our hair was designed so we could always like find each other again, like start, make friends. I feel like a lot of my friends that I have made in the 10 years I've been in London, it's a lot through hair, like what's hair that brought us together. So kind of like hair allows us to recreate roots or even like mini lands wherever we are, because because history has kind of uprooted us and thrown us everywhere. This multiplicity that we're made of is something that I don't know if you guys remember back in the days I was doing the She Unleash workshops, this idea that we're made of several people. And when it comes to Black women, I think even more so. So this is what RadSwan has come to do. I think like there's a lot of negative stigma around what we do with our hair, the way we wear it, if we wear artificial hair or not. And a lot of it often can come from within the community and also outside of the community. And everything that we have on our market is kind of like really like hack based. Like, or we have to learn on YouTube, or like it's always about the tweaks. Or when it comes to wigs, it's like, how do you the things that you need to do, like plug this, do this. Everything is just, I find that this industry is missing so much of the premium experience that we all deserve, or even just simple innovation. So with RadSwan, really our aim is to upgrade and really dignify the experience, because we believe that if we do that, and also like serve the novices, like maybe we can really have a strong conversation on those negative stigmas. This is the reason why our rad shapes are not called wigs. This is the reason also why we call ourselves shapeshifters. Is like we've completely innovated with the rad grip, which is our accessory that revolutionized everything, and the way our rad shapes are built, and even our website and the experience we want to give to our customers, or just the fact that we've built the brand with the input of our audience. It's really co-creation that led us here, just to see if with that now we can revisit this conversation about our self-expression around hair and tackle this negative stigma. Sorry, my son has just come home. And we want to be more than that, but also like a platform where we really get to celebrate our artistry, our fluidity, like I was telling you before, and really explore the multi-people that we are, all of us as individuals. And there's also the reason why I have those three panelists today, because to me, they're all really embody this fluidity that you can't contain, like this constant flow in motion of self-expression and multiplicity. I just think that, you guys embody this so beautifully. So this is my spiel. And now I'm just going to start with my questions for the panel. So Micaéla, I'm going to start with you. You're such a confident shapeshifter, through the beautiful images that we see on your page. What would you say has been your most memorable hair moment?
I think my most memorable hair moment in life or on social?
In life.
I think for me, very love and hate relationship. Well, I had a love and hate relationship with my hair, because growing up in a Haitian household, hair is like everything. It really means a lot. And I think that when I was growing up, I was one of the kids that apparently were lucky to have like thicker, longer hair, and having long hair as a Black girl is like a big thing. So it's like, don't let anyone touch your hair. Don't let anyone ever like do anything to you unless it's your family member and you're sitting down, like you said, between someone's legs that you trust to touch your hair. And having long hair was just like a thing. And I didn't realize that it was a thing that allowed you to be quote unquote beautiful. And I think a lot of times culturally, we use long hair to equate it to beauty. And I didn't really understand that until I was like finding myself. And similar to you, I didn't really have any like opportunity to do my hair until I was about 16, 17, when I was like, oh, my mom's gonna take me to the hair salon. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. This is a great experience. But in college, I was 18 years old. I'm away from home. I'm living on campus. And the long hair that I had, I decided to cut it all off. And I was going through some things. I was like, let me just cut it all off. And my mom was like, I heard so many things. Like my sister's like, are you a lesbian? My mom's like, every time I saw my mom, she's like, Micaéla, when is your hair going to grow? I'm like, Mom, it's growing. Like, and to be honest, my hair was growing really fast. It's just really curly. So when you have curly hair, it's like shrinkage. So I'm like, my hair is growing really fast, but every time you see me, you're bringing up, when is my hair gonna grow? So my hair grew, and I felt like it was a great experience for me, because now that my natural hair is growing, I'm allowed to do with it as I want, as it's growing. I'm getting to know it. I'm creating a relationship with it. When I was younger, everyone else was doing my hair. Everyone else had the thoughts. And I mean, at most they would ask me, do you want 2 ponytails or 1? But like, that's as limited as my choices would be. And I think that I had to go through that relationship building with my hair to understand my likes and needs. And now I change my hair probably every month. I'm always changing my hair so much. And I love wearing different extensions. I love doing different things. And that's another thing too. It's a stigma with Black women that's like, oh, you don't have hair, that's why you're wearing other types of hair. And I'm like, I've showed my hair on social media where my hair is really long now, but like protective styling for me is a thing. I don't want to do my hair all the time. It's a lot of work. And it doesn't mean that I don't love my hair. It means I love versatility a lot. And that's something that I show a lot on my social media too, is that I'm always changing my hair. And now that I'm a full-time content creator, that's something that I do now, but I actually was an accountant. So I was like a 22-year-old accountant working on Wall Street. And I would have people that don't look like me that's asking me questions as to why I changed my hair so much. And I'm like, yeah, my hair didn't just grow like yesterday. Like, do I have to? I mean, I'm smiling, I'm being courteous, but at the same time, it's actually not your business. If you like it, say it looks great. If you don't, say nothing. And that's how I always felt with hair. And like you said, it's a privilege for us as Black women to be able to have the versatility where we can wear our hair curly, we can wear our hair straight, we can add the, we could do so many things. Today I have braids. Tomorrow, who knows? I'm actually been thinking like, oh, I think I'm going to take these braids out this weekend. So who knows what we're going to do? And I think that's the relationship with my hair. It's like a love and hate. And now I'm like loving it. And I built that relationship on my own. And I'm happy that I got that experience to do that.
No, so. Absolutely. And you know, like, I think it's so powerful what you said as well about the you know, this is what you do, like you just like change it, and people always have to make you justify it. Or, but you know, like what would happen if you didn't have long hair? Like, you know, like so would that change? You know, like, would that change anything? And that's the reason why even us, like, we call our rat shapes numbers, because this idea that like, oh, like you're trying to be someone else because you don't love who you are. We even like remove the name, like are we gonna have name? Because, you know, you're the wearer, you are the artist, you are the muse, like you tell the story. No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Micaéla, for that. Now, Paola, I wanted to ask you, like, can you tell us more about your hair journey as well? And how did that journey, you know, like brought you to starting Fun Jam? And also, how would you say it has ignited or allowed you to come one with your Blackness?
That's a loaded question there at the end. But yeah, I'll start with the relationship with my hair. So I was the opposite of Micaéla. So growing up, I feel like I always just had really kinky hair that my parents or whoever was in my household in Haiti didn't know what to do with it. So I knew from the very beginning that my hair meant bad hair. That's what I was taught. They didn't have to say it to me, but every time I heard anything relating to my hair, it was always, what are we gonna do with her hair? We need to fix her hair right now, right? And followed by having my first relaxer when I was 4 years old. That still traumatized me. Like, I still think about the burning sensation on my scalp, right? And I remember often thinking about what about my features or my hair make me so ugly. And I remember thinking about those things when I was as young as 4. And I think at that time, my great grandmother was alive, and she really saw me for who I was. So Micaéla was saying her relationship with her hair, most people saw it as beautiful. And you know, she didn't have a say. And I felt the same way, but they were always trying to fix it, right? So I remember my great-grandmother always coming into the picture saying, leave the child alone, she's just a child. But everyone else always wanted to, because they wanted the best for me, in my mind, or in their mind as well. And I always remember the saying, pour être belle, il faut souffrir. To be beautiful, you must suffer, whatever that is, right? So I just thought it was natural. It was like normal. That's just like what every young Black women who look like me go through. And then I think when I was about 8 or 9, I was wearing a scarf on my head. And I also went to a Catholic school. So that meant your hair had to be pristine, your clothes, your socks, your shoes, everything had to be, you know, super clean, right? And just like perfectly ironed, your hair had to be perfectly coiffed, everything, right? But I remember I was just standing in front of the mirror once and I was just wearing my scarf, just kind of like the way a lot of Caribbean women wear it, just tied, nothing fancy. And I remember I was washing my hair and then I looked in the mirror and I thought, I don't get it. I don't think I look too bad. You know, like, why are people trying to fix me this much? And I'm thinking of this as like an 8 or 9-year-old. That was my first relationship with a scarf, right? And then just growing up, I think I just decided to be a rebel. And although it wasn't, I didn't see it that way, but people called me that because I remembered coming home from high school after years of relaxing my hair and trying all sorts of different extensions and things of that nature, because I was always told that it wasn't good enough. To me, it wasn't a choice of versatility. It was just to belong, right? And so I remember asking my mom to just shave my head. And she was like, okay. She didn't know what to do with it anyway. So she obliged. And when I went to school, of course, the kids made fun of me. I was a Black girl with no hair, like, you know, bald head, all the names, right? And it's funny now because like a few years ago, I went to speak at a high school and the girls were rocking their buzz cuts and they were fine. And I feel like we've come a long way since then. But back then, everyone made fun of me, right? Eventually, people started getting used to it, so they left me alone. And then back in college, I went back to shifting, and it was my choice. I wanted to dye my hair. I wanted to try big hair. I wanted to try braids. And I feel like just looking at me through my journey and knowing what's worked for me, because the world will treat you differently depending on how you wear your hair. And so when I was in my late teens, early 20s, maybe when I was about 19, I used to wear this huge hair, just like loosely curl, you know, not like my hair, but like the huge curl, and it really fit me. And I remember people treated me very differently. They invited me everywhere. I remember I was walking at a mall, I was like scouted, or you know, I remember people reaching out to me to work for their stores and all that stuff. And at that time, I remember working at Abercrombie with that big loose curly hair, and I was like super hyper. So, you know, I didn't think much of it until one day I came in with braids, and the manager, who always had me in the front, just looked at me and I could tell like I did something wrong. And he said, what happened to your hair? It was the tone, you know? So of course, having struggled with the way my hair looks my whole life and seeing the tone and how people are reacting to it, I remember saying, oh, I never want to wear this hair again, because when people see me, they don't see me. They just see the Black girl with the big, loosely curled hair, right? And I have to go back and forth with myself all the time, because I do believe Black women should have the freedom to wear their hair as they please. You know, the shifting, and it's funny that Micaéla called it a privilege, because we see it that way because we've gone through so much, like being able to change it, and we do look good changing it, but we had to fight we had to fight for so long to get to that point, and we're still fighting, and we're still trying to tell people that, hey, we're doing this because we want to, right? So now, owning FumJum and even the head wrap, to me, it's an extension of just how Black women wear their hair. You know, as I use them as protective styling, just like you can wear your shapes, your rad shapes as a protective styling, just like Micaéla could wear her braids, right? Anyway, I can go on and on. So, so basically, I feel like all these experiences have really shaped who I am, and just not thinking about just myself and my experience, because I know I can say how my Black hair experience has made me feel, but just listening to Micaéla alone makes me know that while we still have some things we can connect on, all of our experiences are different. And that's what makes it so interesting.
Exactly. Right. I'm so with you. Like as shapeshifters, you know, we're all, you know, like if we're all like, you know, like multiple individuals wrapped into one, we're just like so unique, you know, like and so different from each other. I think that is so brave that you decided to like shape your head, like, you know, when you was so young and but yeah, no, like that's so brave. And, you know, I find that really interesting as well. Like when you said the, you know, like, then like, you went back to shifting and, you know, there was also part of this exploration phase that is like so powerful. So I think it's definitely in that sense that it is a privilege. And I actually even want to challenge ourselves with the protective styling. I feel like, yes, it is protective styling, but it doesn't also have to be, you know, like, so wearing head wraps or wearing wigs or wearing, like, you know, it can just be for the sake of just wanting to just switch appearance. And it doesn't have to be serving any purpose. Thank you so much, Paola. Now I have a question for Onyi. So I really like your, like, you know, you have this hashtag My Timeless Romance, which is like an introspective editorial series. And I wanted to ask, how has hair been a figure of time for you throughout your lifetime? And if you have also like a favorite hair memory or experience that you're fond of and that you would like to share?
Yes. So I grew up in Nigeria, where I would say my hair is the typical hair in Nigeria is definitely 4C. So it can be seen as very coarse, very difficult to deal with. And I didn't feel alone in that regard because my mom, my sister, my grandma, everyone around me had that sort of hair. But I would say we weren't really taught natural hair care per se. So what people would do would use any odd product like a washing detergent to wash your hair as opposed to something gentle. So that was the sort of treatment I got, and my aunt would wash my hair and then trying to comb it, it just used to give me headaches. And I remember my dad, each time we go to make our hair, as soon as we're walking in, he already has paracetamol waiting for us to drink, because even trying to sleep, because everything was just tightly pulled, you know. And I said to myself, there must be a better way to deal with hair in a gentle way. And I started learning how to make hair, and I would practice on my sister. And my sister used to say to me, oh, it doesn't hurt when you make my hair. So I had more of a gentle touch when I was dealing with hair. And my grandmother used to ask me to make her hair all the time. So I really loved that with her, because eventually she had dementia and she couldn't remember a lot. So that was my way of bonding with her. But my parents shipped me off to boarding school, and because I grew up in Nigeria. So I was in boarding school in Nigeria. And every weekend we'll get told by the principal the hairstyle for the next week. So I used to braid people's hair. They would line up and we'll just sit down, like you said. It was a bonding experience, and all my friends would gather by my bunk, and they would sit down one by one, and I would braid them the hairstyle for school. But then I went on to university as well, still in Nigeria, and I made new sets of friends, and they realized I had loads of skills. One of them was braiding. I loved cooking and baking. My aunt taught me that, that came in handy. So when we were getting broke, me and my friends, because they didn't necessarily have those same skills, what they would do would be to go out and source for customers. They would bring customers and say, well, we have Onyi, she bakes, she cooks, and she also makes hair. What do you want? And on the weekends, we'd have these girls line up, and my friends would help me pull out the attachment that we're going to use to make braids, and they would be passing it on to me as I'm braiding the hair. So we would raise money and just look after ourselves, and that was how we got out of getting broke. And those girls are still my friends till this day, even though most of them are in Nigeria. And then fast forward, I got a job at a bank in Nigeria, and yes, because the weather in Nigeria was so good, I found myself like changing my hair every week, because you're in a new job, you want to stay fresh on top of your hair. And I did that a lot. But then I moved to the UK, and I was in for a shocker, because I was like rocking my hair and my hair was falling off. I didn't quite understand it. It just kept breaking. And I was saying, I don't understand what's happening to my hair. And I had to cut it and regrow it. And I was trying to rock my hair, and it was the exact same experience through and through. And then I realized that the weather in Nigeria was very kind and friendly to my hair. All that heat and humidity was keeping my hair moisturized. And I was in the UK that was just harsh and dry and making my hair fall off. So I had to then adapt a lot of protective styles in order to protect my hair. So these days, I mean, I've shown my hair on social media quite a few times, but these days the people who get to see my hair are my close friends, because I have a friend who is an analytical chemist, and she used to work in the labs of Unilever cotton beauty products. So she literally makes her own hair care products, and I go to her house and she gives me like the 5-step treatment with my hair, because I'm growing I've got natural hair underneath, and she treats it so beautifully. So I feel like my hair is so sacred that I'm almost afraid to let it out for too long in case the weather snatches it away from me, because I've put in so much time and effort to get to this point. But when I moved to the UK, it was that experience. But in bonding and making friendships, I didn't have that many. And I put out an ad on Gumtree saying, I make hair. And then people started coming to my place and I was making hair, and I was able to make friends with those people. And that's my journey so far. Yes.
Well, hair is like, it's such a bonding. It's just, yeah, like it really brings us together. I think, you know, when I hear what you said, or even what Paola said about hair, it's so true that actually you know, hair care for our hair, like falsy hair, and even like it has been so internalized as well that our hair is can be like difficult or it's hard. So I remember even me, like when like my mom, you know, she washed my hair when I was really young. Then like she stopped. Thank God I had my cousins to do it. But it was the type of like, you know, she brushes, it has to go with the first first time it has to go through, you know. And just the even, you know, like the detergent, like you said, that you were using, I don't know if everyone remember Dax, you know, like the green
In
petroleum,
the green soap. Oh my God.
that's
Yeah.
like the cream for the hair. And it's like, and now like, yeah, like we've seen how, you know, in the recent 10-15 years, how like, you know, we've all really like looked more into hair care. And now you have those like, yeah, like your friend who makes her own products, and you know, like care for her friends around her. And I just love all of the mini communities and the many things that, you know, again, our hair as a blueprint has also like set that into motion. I was going to ask you as well, but I feel like you've all talked about this. It's about like your shape shifting moments, you know, again, like I said, like a shapeshifter. And I like to call it like that because that also allows us to not justify ourselves. The idea of like, oh, why are you changing hair? You know, or even like I said earlier, protective styling. It doesn't have to be that. Like maybe you don't have to protect anything, you know, but that's just, it's just like what we do. I've always wondered how we can grow from during our youth, changing our hair all the time and not having the choice, you know, to do that. And then in your 20s or in your 30s, all of a sudden, self-love or, you know, self-acceptance has to look like you have to wear your hair, you know, like the same way every day, like your natural hair. That is like loving yourself. And I'm like, but what are we going to do about the 20 years that I've, you know, I've lived so far, where, you know, it's been so innate, it's been passed on to me. And I don't feel like my mom was the most, you know, like be free my daughter, because again, you know, as minorities, like, you know, fit in, but our hair is like the secret weapon that we're given. It's almost hush hush, but it's like, this is what is going to allow you to make it. When I was in private school, and that the people on my, you know, they had the money to buy the latest trainers, the latest this, the latest that. Like my way to keep up or even to have my own was just like, I would have different hair, different color, like different lens, different this. I have something on everyone else when I can keep up like this. So for me, the concept of shapeshifter is really strong, and I really invite everyone to look at them like this. Onyi, you said something that was so interesting as well about you showing your hair or not, and like the how you want to protect it. And I think again that also goes to what I see as a shapeshifter. It's like, okay, so I hear you, Freddie. Yeah, like you're a shapeshifter. You change your hair. This is what you do. But like, what does it mean if we never see your real hair? Or like, what does it mean? Like, like that's still self-hate. That's da da da. And it's like, because of the spaces of how we evolve with our hair, the intimacy, like the bonding moments, or like with families or friends, I think our hair carries a lot of intimacy, or even our relationship with intimacy. And I know that for me, like I've shown my hair on social media, like like many times, but it's true that just like you, Oni, I'm not someone who is going to wear it out. It's almost like it's my thing, it's my garden, it's my like evening meditation space. And it's almost, I think, unconsciously, because I've really tried to think about it before. It's like, for me, the people, sometimes it's also the people who've seen it, are the people who've seen the bad and the ugly, like when, again, in those bonding moments. And sometimes I also feel like not everyone deserves to see, like, I don't know, like as a shapeshifter, like, like the person in the middle, the artist, the one that shapeshift, is also like gets to decide who gets to see the, like the person at the core. I don't know if I'm making sense, but following what I've just said, like I would love you three to talk about a shapeshifting moment, or sort of like what shapeshifting in that sense means to you, be it around the intimacy or the justification that you've had to give. I'm going to start with Micaéla.
I feel like for me, I never, like I said, I feel like it's a love and hate relationship. But one thing I do know is that for every just Black woman, when you're thinking about going on a vacation, or you're going to a wedding, or you're going pretty much anywhere, the first thing you think about is, what are you gonna do with your hair? And it's all my friends, my sisters, it's all of us. It's always just like, if we're going to do anything that's of any type of substance, we're just like, so did you decide what you're gonna do with your hair? And it's just like a question that comes up just like that. I'm like, why can't I go like this? Why can't I, but you have to make that decision, because I think that our hair is just so important. And I feel like a hair is a part of an accessory, a part of getting dressed. I can have the most simplest outfit on, but if your hair looks great, you wash your face, of course, you're gonna look amazing. So I feel like that's how hair has always shifted me, is like, it's an accessory that needs to always look good, which is why I think that as Black women, because we have the versatility, and say for instance, if I'm wearing braids and my braids are a little bit old, or even you spoke about it earlier where, sometimes your hair gets a little bit dry, you've had it in for too long, now you gotta like make it shiny again, I feel like it happens to us a lot. So if it doesn't look good, then we're just like, all right, what's next? We gotta do it. And I feel like it's a part of an accessory that makes us as a whole, as women. And that's what I feel like. It shapes me. It's a love and hate relationship. And right now I'm loving it. I'm changing it whenever I want to. And like you mentioned earlier, there's really no reason why I change it. It's just because it's a new day and I just want to do it.
It's your blueprint. This is your fluidity flowing.
Sorry, it's all women's blueprint specifically, but I think specifically for Black women, it's definitely our blueprint. Like, anytime I go anywhere, I'm like, the first thing I'm like, all right, you mentioned only the heat in Nigeria, but like when I go to the Caribbean, like the curls, they pop. Like, you go in the water, it's like, it's shining, it's looking good. But then depending on if it's dry weather or whatever, then it's just like, no, now my hair is falling flat. I think a protective style is going to work for me this week. Like, I'm going to do a protective style, but I think it is our blueprint. It's a part of who we are. And it really, yeah.
That language. What about you, Onyi?
I think mine has it's something that I've always grown up with in terms of just having a new look, a new hairstyle every week, because I think there's versatility in it. But I would say in terms of showing off my own hair, I wish I could do more of it, but the weather doesn't allow me. But in those moments when I do, it's like you said, is the people that I feel like who know me get the privilege of seeing it. But every now and again, I have it out there. And I think I have this YouTube video when I was working on my natural hair and it was 4C hair. And I was like, do you want to know how to care for 4C hair? And I was like, you have to sing to your hair. Like, sing sweet melody to your hair, make it grow, like send it love. So when I see my hair, like when I take off my wig and my hair's out in my 2-strand twist and I'm looking in the mirror and I catch myself, maybe I've just used the loo and I'm just washing my hand. I catch myself and I smell, I'm like, I see you, like I see you. So it's like, I don't know how to express it. It's like, I just saw you. Like I
That's
see
not
you.
for everyone.
Yes.
Isn't it?
It really is an intimate thing for me, my hair, and I just love it. And you're right, Paola, when you say people treat you differently when you've got like certain type of hair, because I remember I had this hair that was more 4C sort of hair, and I have this friend who has who's mixed race, and she has this really nice luxurious hair, and we would go out and people would give would go to a coffee shop and they'll be like, oh, you get free coffee because we love your hair. And I'm thinking to myself, but we're together, you're not giving me free coffee. I mean, what's wrong with my hair? And the third time it happened, I had to say to one of them, I was like, I want free coffee too. And she didn't know what to say, and she gave me the free coffee. So,
audacity though. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was too much. It was like, I'm sorry, I want free coffee too. How about we? Like, we are together.
It's ridiculous. Like that's also like why I think that our hair is like has to be observed as not as what's your curl pattern, what's your hair, but more like as a whole, as a community, because of everything that it allows, like all of the connections it makes between us, the fact that we need each other. Like our hair like really also carries a lot of beauty at the community level for what it means, and also like what it allows us, like personally, having these, like for me, it's my meditative experiences, like really looking after it in the evening, which is the reason why even with our rad shapes, they're like, we want you to be able to take them out easily. You don't have to do anything to it because the focus should always be on your own hair. And that's like, for me, it's like, yeah, like it opens to so much, like emotionally, spiritually, and everything that, yeah, just like you, it's not for everyone. Like Paola, what about you and your views on shape shifting?
So I think for the past few years, I've been focusing on defining what nice hair means to me, which means why can't I wear my hair and make it and feel like, and I do agree with everyone when you say that you think your hair is an accessory. It's part of your outfit of going up and expressing yourself out in the world. And while I love so many styles that, that require you to slick and to pull and to sculpt, right? I also think there's so much beauty and simplicity and not brushing your edges. I believe there's beauty in all of it, whether they're swooped up or whether they're like this. And I feel like with my work, if you go on my company's website, I photograph most of the images, but I intentional, like if you go on there and you see the hairline not brushed or imperfect, that's because I want it to be that way. I'm like sending this little message that says, this is okay too, So, and it's kind of crazy because, there are days I wake up and I think, okay, this dress, I need a slick back bun. That's what's going to make the look. And then there are other times I wake up and I put on a suit or maybe a jumpsuit and I think, okay, I woke up with this. This was like for me to go to bed, but why can't I step out in it? Why shouldn't I step out in it? And I keep asking myself these questions because the first time I've ever flown first class was for work, and a company flew me there. And I remember feeling like some kind of imposter, because when I looked around, one, I was the youngest person in that area. I was the only Black person. And I remember feeling so strange because I remember how my hair was. I thought about it. Then I had to keep asking myself, why are you making this a big deal? So my hair was in these Bantu knots, but not the styled ones, the ones you wear to bed under your bonnet, the ones you put in your hair before you take your fro out. I didn't have the time to style it, you know? And I have a child. I remember like jumping from one thing to another. And next thing I knew, I had to go to the airport. And I was like this. And the whole time I was like making this big deal out of it. And the reason, and it's not my fault I was making a big deal out of it, it's because society taught me to make a big deal out of it. Even if people weren't thinking about my hair, I felt like they were, only because of my past experiences, right? And I took that, I used that as an example. And because I'm not perfect, right? We're all learning our hair. And I also catch myself too, if I'm in my stories, you know, on Instagram, and my hair's not perfect. And I would go, oh, excuse my hair this morning. I apologize for the way it looks. So then I go and I ask myself, why am I apologizing for this? So many women who follow me look like me. Why are we sorry about how we should look? So now I've been pushing myself to redefine what nice and fine and beautiful and nice hair means. Like, if I want to wear my hair like this to a wedding, maybe some people will have something to say about it, but I'll be okay with that because I'm trying to figure that out. But if I also want, and I had someone comment once, I took the self-portrait and they said, I love how you didn't slick your edges. And I said, well, thanks for noticing that. That was intentional, but I also sometimes like to slick my edges. Like, I'm still the same person. To me, it depends on what I want to convey to the world or what I'm feeling that day. And to me, a hairstyle like this, maybe 10 years ago, I didn't find it beautiful. And I would say, why would she wear this outfit with this hair? But right now I feel like if she wore this outfit with this hair, that meant she thought it was the perfect hair for that outfit. And that is fine.
Yeah. And you're the shapeshifter, like you're the artist, like it's your rules, like, you know, you create the artwork. And, you know, like both of you, Micaéla and Paola, have talked about how, you know, it's the same with outfit and shoes. And for me, that's something that I also thought about, in the sense that it's funny how quickly people give that to us, you know, black people, we are so fluid in our fashion, in our music, in our artistry, but that's because like we do it so differently. And then when it comes to hair, like things don't follow up. And I've asked myself, and I think it's because, you know, the European beauty standards are kind of like, okay, so like long hair, straight hair, blonde hair is like, that's how it is. But also because white women wake up like this, so it's kind of like, that's effortless. So I think we've kind of paired the idea of effort, like because we want to do our hair, we go out of our way to do things, as opposed to our style or the way we dance or whatever, like, you know, all of those things, like that kind of like flow naturally. Just because we put more work into that, I think that's when people get the idea that you're trying to catch up. You're trying to be someone else. You're trying to, as if like it originates from a place of lacking. And like actually like people are missing the whole, you know, bonding, sisterhood, community, self-exploration and all of that. You know, we're all black, like only us could be, like all of us, you know, it's our own expression. And which takes me to my next question. But now I realize that with the time, because I also want to leave time for the questions from our audience, that there were so many things I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to have to skip some. But when it comes to, you know, I wanted just to talk about Black spaces, and I wanted to, and also with the context of, you know, things and yesterday, I think it's important to finish on this note. So Micaéla, I'm going to start with you. I wanted to ask you, like, how have you carved out such a beautiful and peaceful place on the internet? And, you know, like how your page and your words, they're full of wisdom, you know, like how did you go about it, create that space?
I feel like one, I've always grown to love editorials. Like I've always loved that aspect of just like, I was the young kid always looking at magazines, like this is so cool. But not really seeing anyone that looked like me. So that's really what inspired me, to be quite honest. It's so simple, but that's just what inspired me. But I wanted to say something. The whole time Paola's speaking, I'm thinking about one of my best friends, Kim. I've known her since I was 9. And same thing with Oni, the difficulty, the growing up with the texture hair. And like my best friend, we're both Haitian, but in the Haitian culture, there's a lot of mixes, a lot of things happening. So you can have cousins that have looser hair or whatever, and they make it a distant, like they make it specific, like, oh, you have good hair, that person doesn't have good hair. And I remember specifically Kimberly, we same university as well. She texted me about 2 days ago, and there's a girl that something big is happening in her life. She's like, I'm so happy for her, but I still kind of hate her. And I was like, what are you holding on to? And she's like, yeah, I still kind of hate her because I'll never forget what she said to me. And basically what she said was, I remember kept advocating for my best friend to go natural, but she was never wanting to go natural with her hair because her hair was too thick and it wasn't considered quote unquote what was beautiful. And we're on a dance team and the girl says to her, no one asked her, no one said anything. She's like, and she's wearing her hair out just for the first time, natural hair. And she's like, if I were you, I wouldn't wear my hair natural, but if I had hair like Mika, I would. And just like that. And then I was just like, I'm like, Kim is sad. She's like feeling some type of way and I'm mad for her. So I'm like, why did you have to say that? It's a whole thing. But I think it's so interesting that past things happen and it still kind of hinders you, especially if you're dealing with difficulty. So one thing I would like to say outside of just like getting inspiration from editorials for the page is that advocating for us as a whole is something that's so big to me, because I feel like we as a community sometimes are even hard on ourselves, because even like when Paola was saying like you're judging yourself for being on first class, but girl, you in first class and you look like that. That's amazing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we do that to ourselves, unfortunately, just because of like what society has just like put on us. But when we see more people like not laying their edges, it says that it's okay, because when you go to Paola's page, her page is so beautiful. It gives me editorial vibes. So I'm like, all right, girl, like I can do this because she's doing that. And she's also Haitian and I'm Haitian. So I'm like, yes, this is okay. Because I think that we put that on ourselves, but it's time for us to take it back. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So much that we internalize. I'm absolutely with you. Like, you know, for me, like, you know, I'm French, as you guys know, like growing up in France, actually, us is like, we grew up really looking up to American women, the Black American, they have the good hair. Like the edges thing, it's not something that I've ever seen in France. Like that's an American thing. Like my hair doesn't do that. If I do that, even with the gel and putting the thing, it's just like going to curl up and not stay. But yeah, like I remember even when I was younger, it was like the hierarchy is like, oh, you want to be like the American girls that have the good hair, that have the good skin, that have everything. And I remember like often also I lied about saying that I was West Indian, because you know, like France also has like West Indian, and it's kind of like seen, you know, like they're more mixed or they have more like different hair, or it's kind of more, and yeah, you know, I remember one day like lying, saying like, oh, I was from Guadeloupe, and someone was like, what, with your last name? No way. You know, and things that, but yeah, it's crazy. I find this so interesting. Sorry, don't let me get on on a tangent. But yeah, now Paola, how have you fought for the happiness and strength that you deserve? I feel like you kind of touched on that earlier, talking about your journey as a child and the rebel phase, but also why do you think that, because that's a space where so many women find it a struggle, and you have this way of really like, but you know, that is so inspiring, because listening to you, you know, like you just feel free and strong, and you know, like, yes, this is who I am, so what? So
well, I feel like it took a long time, and I think one of the things that have helped me, I'm always having these like internal conversations with myself, right? And once I'm in a space where I start asking myself, is this normal? Is this how life is? There has to be more than that. And I feel like I started asking myself these questions when I was very young. And I've gone through a lot. My hair is like a very small part of what I've gone through, right? And once I ask myself that, I try to see if the answer is true. And that all started, maybe it started before in Haiti, but when I moved to the States, I was about 12 going on 13. And my family we all moved to a 1-bedroom apartment in Newark, New Jersey. That was not the life that was painted to me, understanding or looking at movies when they tell me I'm going to live in America. You know, that was the complete opposite. And then I started saying, well, I don't understand how this could be a thing. Why am I viewed this way, right? And I start saying, well, I have to find a way to get out, or to find a way to understand why I feel this way. And that meant putting myself in uncomfortable situations, you know, situations that made my knees buckle, my armpits flooding with sweat, right? My voice shaking. And I found myself, the more I put myself through these situations and surviving those situations, I'm becoming better and stronger every time. So the more I do them, the more sure I am of myself, the more I understand that I belong in a room. Yeah. You know, the more I can say, you know, if you do something for the very first time without having any support or any experience, you're probably not going to do a very good job, but you learn from it, right? And you say, how can I be better? Did I enjoy this? And if you didn't enjoy it, right, then you're going to say, well, this is not for me. I'm going to try something else. But if a small part of you enjoyed it, but you know that you didn't do a great of a job, you're going to try to be better. And that's why I feel like I just kept showing up for myself. I kept saying, if no one else will, I'm just going to do it myself. And along the way, that doesn't happen all by yourself too. You're gonna find people who see something in you, even if it's a stranger who says, you know what, that bald head looks nice on you. That's a little boost. Yeah. Even a complete stranger, that 5-second conversation, then you're like, oh, maybe I did do the right thing. 200 people just called me ugly, but that one man who delivered water on campus said, I looked nice. I didn't know him. I didn't even respond, but that added to the fuel, and I kept going. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, oh, everyone's used to it now. Or someone else coming in and saying, hey, you know, I cut my hair because I liked your hair. You know, then you're like, oh, I guess it wasn't a terrible thing after all. And yes, we should do things without having to seek validation, but obviously we can't do things. We have to find that community and that sisterhood. We have to find this this bond, and when you get a positive reaction, you want to do better. You're more motivated, right? So I think it's just putting yourself in these uncomfortable situations, keep believing that you can show up for yourself, and when you do, not to be blinded, to see the positive, because I feel like we focus a lot on the negative, a lot on the negative reactions. We could get 500 compliments, one bad comment, and we focus on that. We tend to do that, and I do that sometimes. Yeah. But sometimes I switch it, I flip it. I say, okay, starting FumJum, even 6 years ago, right? Oh, you're gonna do what? I don't get it. Everyone, you know, now, it's a thing. Yeah. They were like, why are you wearing rags on your head? I have heard that. I'm quoting that word for word, you know? So I think sometimes people also push things away they're not familiar with or they're not comfortable with, right? Yeah. And if you believe in something, it's up to you to say, well, you're gonna have to deal with it. When I started wearing my hair the way it is, you know, my mom used to say, oh, at least put a little texturizer or something. Now my mom's hair is like this too.
Yes. Right? Yes. Same with mine. First she was like your hair. Now she has like this buzz cut, curly.
Right. It's amazing. It's amazing.
No, and I find it so interesting what you said about validation, because I feel like I agree with you. It's not actually about seeking validation. Actually, I like to call it that it's just like an echo, you know, like show yourself, like be more, like show yourself out there. Like every time that you take more risk and you reveal more of yourself, I feel like the world is going to reward you by echoing this. And so, yeah, like, yeah, validation is definitely not it. It's, like receiving an echo, and that's what happens when you just like, are yourself and bring it out. So, thank you so much, Paola. Onyi, I wanted, and that's the last question after that, because I wanted to look at the questions that people have submitted. Sorry, we're running over time. I think we've also started a bit late, so I hope that's okay. But Onyi, how are you inspired to create your vision, and how do you step away and be free with the camera to tell such incredible stories with a single frame? So I think obviously, like, it's a very, like, your own creative process, but please take us more through how that works.
Yeah. So much like Paola, I tend to take an introspective view as well. And in order to get to this point, it was a particular experience that shaped me. So when I was in Nigeria, I was in this abusive relationship. It was both physical and mental. And that relationship, I got into that relationship as a teenager at the age of 16. And I was in it till I was 21. And this person said horrible things to me, because if you understand abuse, you would see they try to break you down mentally, and you start to think less of yourself. And because I was a teenager, still discovering myself and understanding the hormones and everything happening around me, I, to an extent, believed the things this person used to say about me. They would call me ugly. Nobody wants to be around you. Nobody's going to appreciate you. And to call someone ugly, to me, I don't look at someone and say, oh, they're ugly. I have to know you. I have to know, the way you behave, the way you treat people for me to describe someone as ugly. I don't look at people and say, oh my God, that's ugly. So this person described me in this way. And in order to break free from this relationship, I'm telling you, it took me moving away from Nigeria to get away from this human being. I'm telling you, it was that bad. Moving away from Nigeria and coming to the UK. And even then, they were still trying to find me and all of that. But in that space and time, I had to start spending time with myself, trying to understand, why did I let it go on consecutively, continuously? And I realized it was because I didn't know who I was. So because I didn't know who I was, I let somebody else tell me who I was, when that wasn't me. So I had to spend time getting to know me, getting to spend time with myself, understanding myself. And in doing so, I was able to heal, but also able not to project my experience and the pain and suffering that I've gotten in future relationships, although it helped me identify potentially abusive men that I'd come across. But yes, and spending time with myself, I said to myself, I'm the one who knows me better than anybody else, because I've gotten to spend a lot of time with myself. So I'm going to tell my story the way I see it. And there's something I always say is, I always try to encourage people to tell their story, because if you don't, someone else will tell it for you, and you might not like the character that they paint you out to be. So for me, it's all about looking inwards. And I would say, going back to the Black community, it's very important that we do not project, our pain and suffering onto others. When we're seeing other Black women expressing themselves in the way that they want to, we should let them do that, because that is their own form of expression, which we've been privileged and allowed to do so in our own space. So we should afford and accord people that same opportunity. So for me, it's always about reflecting and seeing what I'm putting out there. And what I'm putting out there is my story in this moment. Tomorrow, the story could be something different. But for now, this is the person I know. And this, she's leading me to the woman that I'm becoming. And I'm excited about that journey. Yeah.
Oh my God, beautiful. Amen. I'm so with you. And I wish that people could recognize that when they are so judgmental as to what someone else does with their hair or expression, it really actually means how they are not free themselves, and how they probably hold the same hard standards on themselves. It's like, just because you want to live in a cage yourself doesn't mean that other people should. And I wish that people could see it like that. And I find that the three of you, by just like being your, you know, like yourselves, like, you know, and by being like, especially like Oni and Paola, how you just like really go deep into embodying the, you know, like the shoot, the characters, the story that you bring out, you know, like visually and everywhere. I just think that this is so inspiring in ways that you guys will never know, you know, like, and that's also like the beauty of the spaces that the three of you hold. Like Paola was saying earlier about this man who made this comment about, oh, I love your short hair, and then, you know, and that man, like, you know, like didn't know the impact. And that's the same for the platforms and the spaces that you have. Like, you will never know how they've set some people free, how, you know, I find the introspective nature that you guys have talked about, I have this in common with you. I'm like miss living in my head and all of that. And like, even this, like being openly introspective, I feel like as Black women, it's almost like, you know, almost like a revolution to just be, because it's like, how can you afford to be like this, you know, we have to be practical and all of that. There's so much beauty and celebration and everything in the way that you guys move around. And I really, really love that. And I'm so grateful that we could have this conversation today. I'm so gutted that this, like, you know, we have to wrap up. Like someone said, I really love this Zoom. And I'm like, I know, me too. How can we make it last longer? Like next time we need to just have a 2-hour session. But I wanted so like last thing, like before I like we take questions, because actually like there's not so many, I wanted to ask the three of you, Micaéla, Onyi, and Paola, something that you would want to, after everything that we've said, everything that you've said, like what is it that you would want to leave us with? The same way that I've just said, you know, we don't know the impact of the things that we do and what we say. The three of you are full of so much wisdom and so much freedom. So please, I would love us to just like drop something, like drop something before you leave. So Micaéla, do you want to start?
Sure. I think it's funny that you said freedom, because that's what I'm thinking of. I feel like growing up and just like my family thinks I'm just such a free person and I'm the oddball that just like does things that's so out of the ordinary. And I'm like, it's actually not that out of the ordinary. I'm just living my life. And my biggest expression is just like, I love to live life. I'm just going to live my life. And I just like want to give that to like every woman, and especially every Black woman, is just live your life for yourself and for no one else. Especially when it comes to anything, like whether it's your hair, your clothes, your options of, and only your story is so inspiring. I'm happy you got that freedom to leave, because abusive relationships can really challenge you emotionally too. So yeah, live your life is the biggest thing that is just be free and do what you feel is best for you.
I love that. And I love how you say, I love to live life. I don't know, but something about this sentence in particular where I'm just like, yes, I love to live life. Like it just says it all. Paola, what about you?
I think for me, it's always defining what success means to me on my own terms, because I feel like my life has changed so much. I feel like I've lived many lives. And Latonia, I follow Latonia. I met her with you at the Kate Spade show. She said, she wrote something once when she says she had a conversation with her former selves. And I've never really thought about it that way, but I have conversations with my former selves a lot. And because my life has changed so much, and just the various ways that, or I guess, what do you call them? Moments of my life. Even right now, I feel like I'm very different from who I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm always trying to find, because I'm in my head all the time, and seeing how far I've come. No one can remind me where I come from. I know where I come from. I'm sure of it, right? And the more successful I am to the outside eye, the more I want to define it on my own terms. And to me, that means peace and loving the person I am along the way. So there are times where I feel like I say no to something and it seems like I've passed a huge opportunity. And to me, I ask myself, you must say no for a reason. Why are you saying no for that, right? Because I think we live in this world now. We have to show our growth, or we have to kind of like, or it has to be apparent. And sometimes our biggest victories are celebrated like alone, at least for me.
Yeah.
I just want to leave anyone who's interested in doing anything, or if they think they want to make a difference or impact people, to always just be honest with themselves, and to find peace and success in their own term. Just because I feel like the world could really box you in, you know, and that's also kind of like just thinking about hair, like you were saying, people project their insecurities on you should you decide to express yourself a certain way. So even as an entrepreneur, or a mother, or a creative director, or, you know, filmmaker, if you start doing something one way, like Onyi's style right now, she says, I'm telling the story how my life is right now, but it may not be like this in the next stage. And that is okay. I think often people will say, well, this is how you were. Why are you all of a sudden, you know, showing something else? But at this stage of my life, this is how I feel, and this is what I've learned. And, you know, and to me, you're a romantic, and I feel the same way about myself, but I express my romance a different way. And that is okay. And it's interesting to see your work because it's refreshing to me. And I feel like we all need those differences, because although, you know, aesthetically it's different, right? But ultimately we have the same message. We have a very similar message. So yeah, so just find peace in who you are, and that it's okay if you are different.
It's so strong. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I love everything you said. And I love how you say every time that the outside sees you as like really successful, you always like then like redefine what success means to you, which I think is so powerful, because you get this outside validation. But you know, like instead of just like, okay, this is working, you're actually like taking this in to make sure that you stay true to yourself, that you stay honest, that you respect this constant fluidity, this current that you're made of, and not just end up, oh,
baby Shaka.
And like not just like but you know, like stay this person that people validate. I love that. I love that so much. Onyi, now your turn.
For me, it will just be to reiterate what Micaéla and Paola said, which is to live life, your own life that is true to you. So that is what I try to do on a daily basis. I journal. It allows me a life of introspection. But the other day I was journaling, and I actually wrote a poem because I was thinking about my life so far and how far I've come. And the poem is actually called I've Lived a Beautiful Life. And it goes on to talk about, despite my pain, despite all the struggles, I've also enjoyed love as well. You know, I've gotten to see other people express themselves. I've gotten to also learn to express myself and acquire knowledge from other people who have shared. I've learned to dream. I've learned to embrace who I am. And it just says, I've lived a beautiful life. And yes, life is worth living despite the pain that comes with it. Like the rose, it has a thorn, and then it withers away, but then the petals come back just to remind us of the beauty of life that exists. So yes, I have lived a beautiful life, and I would like to encourage people to spend more time with themselves, get to know who you are. That way nobody can tell you who you are besides yourself, because you know yourself. And another thing I would like to say is that I feel like Micaéla, Paola, and myself, in being true to ourselves and expressing ourselves in these moments, whatever that may be, is living a legacy for other women to see that it's okay to be you. And I'm big on living legacies behind because I feel like it's very important to live a legacy that opens the door for other women, especially women of color, to be able to come in. Because in today's world of what quote, you know, what success means. People are defining success with, you know, how many million followers you have and all of that stuff. And I don't see success that way. I see success to be unique to everybody. And I don't measure success in terms of followership in that regard. So what I tend to do is to highlight women who I know are living authentically on my blog, you know, try to make films about them. You know, I have a series on my blog called Woman of Substance. I mean, it's in the name. It's a woman who has more to give to society, because I feel like we need to see these women and be inspired by them. So, yes.
Oh my God, you guys, I am filled up for the, honestly, I'm speechless for words. Thank you so much. I love, oh my God, I wish we could keep on talking. Like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm got like so much to learn. I wish I could be taking notes as well, but you know, I had to be working. Thank you so much, so many pearls of wisdom, and you guys have definitely like inspired me and encouraged me to even be more like loudly and boldly myself, and to really like, you know, like define success for what it means to me. And I am so grateful for you guys. And I have my my comment section as I refer to this person in my belly, because, you know, it's just like knocking when like, yes, yes, yes. So that's the comment section. And I hope that, you know, she's heard out of the gems, because, you know, she's one of us. And I hope that, you know, she's taking notes from the womb. So now for the questions that we have, actually it's going to be quite quick. So someone asked about what advice would you say to your younger self. So I feel like what you guys have said kind of like touches on that, but like maybe like if you guys can like do like one sentence on what you would say to your younger self. Start with Micaéla.
It's never that serious.
Amen. Yes. And Onyi?
I would say you be proud of the woman you become.
Yes. Paola?
And I would say to trust yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Love it. Intuition. It's definitely a journey to unleashing your intuition. Now, I think the remaining questions were more about like the hair, so I'm going to go quickly on them. The like, you know, can you dye the RadSwan hair? No, sadly you can't, because it's synthetic, so it's not human hair. Do the wigs need moisturizing, and what do you recommend to use to ensure longevity of the wig? They don't really need moisturizing per se. We're going to create a spray soon, but in the meantime, what you can do is just mix a bit of softener, like clothes softener, like with some water, and make a spray. You know, synthetic fibers are just like clothes. And so this is a way, but even with that, like this, I've been wearing it for like 2 months now, and I've barely put anything on it. And to ensure longevity is to not sleep in the wig, take it off at night, like just don't keep it on, you know, it's just like it goes off. Then hold on, no, I think that was just this. Can I ask what products you all use on your natural hair? If you guys have Micaéla, Onyi, Paola, if you want to jump in with your favorite thing that you like to use on your hair. I would say for me, like Paola was saying earlier, like I went back to simplicity and to like ease. I really love like there's this brand, it's a UK brand called Afro Hair and Skin Co, and it's just like the best like shea butter or hair oil, just made with like locally sourced ingredients, very simple, like streamline the whole routine. That's something that I really love, just like shea butter. Paola, Micaéla, Onyi, if you want to chip in with your favorite.
My favorite line is I have two. I have this brand called Not Your Mother's, which I really love. I dip and dab in Diva Curl. And it's a Pantene, but it's a gold line, which was created by Black scientists. They probably have one of the best like conditioners that I've ever had. I realize like my hair loves a lot of water. So I just like use anything that I can get, like conditioner, water, anything like that.
I like this range. Love
yeah.
it. Such a good range. Yeah. Yeah, the Pantene. Yes, absolutely.
I think for me, it's less about product and more about routine, like less about the brand. Because I found a lot of conditioners that worked for me, from Aveda to, I don't know, random things I found at Sephora or any drugstore. But what I've noticed that made a ton of difference for me was when I do this kind of like aloe vera, like fresh aloe vera pre-poo. I just use it to run my fingers through my hair. And it's just pure aloe vera. I just blend it and then strain it. And then I like it really helps me with detangling my hair. And then I do a hair mask, and I literally feel like it has to be a really bad hair mask for it to not do its job, right? Like I don't have like a favorite brand. I just know that, you know, if it just works. But I've used anything from curls that curls or is it Shea Moisture?
Yeah, that's a brand.
And Aveda. I think it's Aveda.
Aveda, I
right?
love this brand. Yeah, like their products are great for our hair. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like they, you know, I've tried a couple of lines and they've worked really well. And then of course, we also have to understand that you can have 4C hair. Like, I don't know if Micaéla has 4C hair, but our 4C hairs could be completely different. Like hers could be super dense and my hair is just not as dense. You know, it's just like sparsely dense 4C hair. And you have to think of your porosity. What works for you? Some people do well with protein treatments. Some people don't. Like, it's just so complicated when it comes to black hair, I think. So I keep it simple. I like my aloe vera, you know, to finger detangle and then wash my hair as you would, and then do a hair mask. And then I like using natural oil. So I do a leave-in, and I feel like the thicker leave-ins do better for me, like the melanin brand. I've liked it. And then I seal it with an oil. So that's it. I mean, I've worn my hair in a low buzz cut for years. And then after I had Zuli, I was going through such a hard time, and she was in the NICU for a while, and because I moved to Austin, I didn't have a barber, so I just decided to just let my hair grow, but like to do the bare minimum to take care of it, give it water, you know, and then seal the moisture, and then I noticed that that's worked for me.
Like very, like going back to simple is so underrated, but yeah, like same, like underneath my, so because I wear my rat shapes often, I have like either, actually, like sometimes I just have like, you know, like 4 buns like this and just stick the wig on it, but otherwise I just do like cornrows, like 4-6 of them, and then I have this spray that is a mix of like rice water and water that I just like spray all over my hair like every day, and then like massage the edges. But yeah, it's really important to, even, you know, if your hair is underneath wigs or anything and it's just on cornrows, to not leave it like that. Just like spray of water, you know, that goes a long way. It just like keeps the hair bouncy and springy. Onyi, do you want to?
Yeah, I would say most products work on my hair as well. So I wouldn't say it's brand in terms of that, but I use shea butter every now and again, but it's like one that I get from Nigeria. At the moment, I just finished using a line, Monter. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's like Muse's Uniform. Nelly designed it, but it's very cocoa butter infused. I got some and I love it. She has the soap. There's a shampoo soap. It is amazing.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know she had a hair brand.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I follow her, but I didn't know.
So I've been using that. I got some for my friend and she tried it and she said she really likes it. But right now I've just gotten some curly products from a L'Oreal brand called Kerastase, which I've used before, but they've just designed a curly range and I'm using that. But I'd say most hair products work for me. But like Paola said, it's the routine, the hair care routine. So for me, I try to wash my hair at least once a week. But what I do is that I have my 2-strand twist underneath. But when I have a shower, I take off everything and just leave the 2-strand twist as well. Let the water, the steam, everything soak in. Because my hair loves water. It just thrives, you know, with water. So yeah.
Same. Or even before the shower and you leave your hair out, like put even a bit of like oil. So then it's like the steam is gonna open the follicles and then the
Yeah.
oil just like come in. Yeah, absolutely. It's like a hair sauna. Thank you very much, guys. I think last question. Someone asked if you choose to wear them every day, can it last longer than the 4-month mentioned on the website? I want to be honest, I don't think so, but if you manage, please, please send me your tips. I I honestly don't think so. I think it depends on the style, like the straighter, the better. So maybe like, the less, like the less curly, but 4 months of every day is like good wear. Yeah, like longer would be difficult. But again, by using, I know that some people use like the softener method and they kind of like, we're still researching this as well. Like you can dip the hair in uh, like softener and water and like, and also like revive. But after 4 months, the curls might be, like more matted. If it was a straight hair, like straight style, absolutely. But when it's curly, it's a bit like, it's a bit harder.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a few questions for you. Which shapes are you wearing? And you said you've been wearing it for 2 months.
Yeah.
So are you twisting it at night, or what are you doing to keep it?
No. So I'm wearing the shape 4, which is launching today. So like it's a bit less curly now because I've been wearing for 2 months, but I still have a lot of curls here. And to the question, like, do I twist it? Absolutely. Like, I am someone who is very lazy, and I refuse to spend time or effort on hair that isn't mine. I feel like, this should be for my own hair. Otherwise, I would not do anything. So literally, well, I have a bobby pin here, but you see, I just take it off like this. I have my rat grip underneath that keeps it in place so it doesn't move. When it's like that, you can see, and that recreates the scalp. But no, I take it off like you and I throw it. And no, actually, like, we have the rat case, and then I store it in this. But no, I don't do anything to it.
Yeah, so I haven't worn mine yet. I haven't like cut it because I do want to, but I was like, do I have to like maintain this? Because with the way my lifestyle is set up, yes, I don't know.
I will coach you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's it.
I think Onyi was something, but you're on mute because you're here.
Sorry. I've been wearing the number 2, and I tend to wear it like nearly every day. But I only wear it for like a few hours, and then when I come home, like, oh, wig out, chill time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have this headstand that I put it on in my bedroom, and it's just opposite our bed. And at first, my husband was like, ah! One night, because it's on a bust.
Yeah, I pee at night. So when I start up, I don't want to be freaked out. The whole wig heads, that's not for me. Some people have I can't do that. I don't have any heads.
But now he's used to it. But yeah, that's how I don't even put mine in the bag. But so far it's doing well. Yeah.
Yes. And also, can we just say our hair is such an amazing filter, even in love. It's like if there's someone that you felt kind of reluctant to kind of like see you in like your hair state, like, like this early on, this is not the one. And I feel like this is like an extra thing that we have that, other people don't have with their hair. Like this is important. Because someone was saying in the chat that she's grateful that she can wear her messy hair in front of her husband, and that she has some friends that can't, and it's sad. And I think it's sad as well. And I would say, are you sure he's the one? But yeah, no. No, I had like another question, but this is a bit of a topic, so I will address it separately. It's like, Freddie, can you share with us one setback and how you turned it into a positive overcome, and as you develop the brand, how you stayed true to the vision? To be honest, like, to answer this question right now, we would be here 2020, the pandemic, it's been so much, but I promise that I will touch on that more on social media, like on Instagram, because this as well like deserves like a whole chapter on it. But I will definitely answer this. but I think this is it. Like, I don't want to keep everyone for too long. It's already been like quite a long time. So if that's okay with everyone, we're just going to wrap up here. And I just want to say again, I am so grateful. Thank you so much, Micaéla, Paola, Onyi. You guys have no idea. Thank you so much, everyone who came and attended and like share the question, share this moment with us. Please, everyone, look after yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And like all of our panel recommended, like live loudly, boldly, in your authenticity. You are a shapeshifter, you are multiple, you are so much wrapped into one. So keep exploring, keep discovering, and every day it might be a different story, and so be it. You know, like our guest said, you know, this is who I am at the moment, and I find that there's so much strength in that. So I hope that yeah, I hope that you guys have an amazing week, and welcome to the world, RadSwan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was amazing listening to all of your stories.
We need to do it again. I don't know which format, or I don't know how, but like we need to have an afternoon or something. Like we need to.
Agreed.
We could do IGTV. I've never gone live on IG, but
okay. So
now you can do like 4 people.
Yes,
that
now we
true.
can. Yeah, we need to do like the part 2 of this. Like we need to do. Yeah, definitely. I would say that's the thing. Like the 3 of you, like more IG live, like everything that has been shared today, like really goes to show you how, you know, you have really powerful things to say, really like inspiring things to say. So more live. And I'm saying that to myself as well, because you know I'm like, Freddie, just be less shy. And
I'm happy to go live with you and do the wig. I told you that. So let's plan it. But I do have to run because Shaka is here.
Okay,
and
guys, like this is terrible. Like what I should not go to the right panel.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
yeah. Bye. Nice to meet you all.
Bye.